brighten up those already bright mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the Cabin.
You heard the disembodied voice of Jill Elaine. Mornings at the Cabin. Wheeler, Ollie, Lecter with you. Thursday. Wednesday? Thursday. Right?
Thursday.
Hey! All right. Another overcast morning here in July. Maybe summer's just gonna take a pass, just like last year. I don't know. I wore my jacket to work this morning. It's warmer than it was
Jacket?
yesterday. Yeah.
That's a little over.
I know, it's a little over the top. I'm a dramatic person, Lecter.
Fair.
All right?
Yeah.
I may heighten the drama of very small things on a regular basis.
Keeps it fun.
Yeah, it does, for everyone involved.
Oh, look at that. Chance of showers today.
Hey! All right.
Nothing about that anywhere earlier in the week.
All
but
slow
today.
pitch games canceled. We're going to play 6 games all season. I think that's what's going on.
I will have a perfect attendance record.
You are going to play in one of these games.
There won't be any more.
So here, there are a few things we're going to get Ollie to do before we die. Slow pitch. All right. He's going to get a tattoo.
Oh.
And we're going to have him eat a cannabis edible.
Whoa.
These are all things
I'll
that
tell
are
you
going
right
to
now,
happen.
slow pitch is by far the most likely.
All right.
Yeah, slow
See, there you
pitch.
go.
I mean,
there you go.
I
You
have
got to shoot for the stars and land in the slow pitch.
I've already played slow pitch. I don't know where you guys were.
Oh,
It's a couple years ago, but
a
I
couple of years ago. Oh,
No,
yeah.
no one remembers
Nah,
that.
no one remembers. 2 years ago, I barely remember the day of the week.
That'll be the cannabis edibles.
No, actually, I don't. You know what? I haven't had an edible in quite some time.
No, it's the tattoo, actually.
Yeah, it's the tattoos. The ink is
Long-lasting
seeping
effect.
into my brain. All right.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
Wheeler and Lecter with you on your July 4th, Thursday morning. Happy Independence Day. Happy July 4th to all of our American friends out there. We know you're listening, and as Ollie would call it, Happy Treason Day, you filthy colonialists.
He would say that.
He
wouldn't
would say that. But hey, he'd say it nicer, though, with that lovely accent of his. You know?
Yeah. He's not bitter.
No. Well, I mean, you know, that's a large parcel of land that the British lost.
Hate that word.
Yeah. The thing is that it wasn't theirs to begin with. So
No, that's true.
there it is. So what are they really celebrating? You
I
know?
don't know. Freedom, I guess.
Yeah, freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, freedom from oppression and tyranny, which is how they got the freedom in the first place.
Tanks, it looks like.
Tanks,
from the
absolutely.
pictures
Get
I've
those
seen.
tanks out in the middle
Celebrate
of
those
Washington.
tanks.
Absolutely. Let's make Washington, D.C. look like Soviet-era Russia. Absolutely. Or North Korea or Tiananmen Square circa 1989.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We've got to remind everyone else, as well as ourselves,
Yeah.
how strong America is.
Nothing like a man who deferred deployment to Vietnam 5 to 6 times, celebrating the military in his country.
We've been over this. He was protesting.
That's right. That was his way of avoiding a conflict which he knew the U.S. should not have been in.
That's
the first place.
right. Donald knows that was not our war.
That's
to
right.
Fight. And
And let me be clear. There is nothing wrong with showing pride in the military or celebrating the military or service people at all. Tanks in the middle of Washington, D.C., not the best look. Not the best look.
I think it's impressive.
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully there's a rocket launcher on one of those things, for goodness sake. Let's parade a nuclear missile through downtown Washington. Oh, beautiful stuff. Just it makes your heart hurt with pride.
All skepticism aside, happy Independence Day to our
Seriously,
American
happy
friends.
July 4th if you're out there and you've got that American blood in you and you feel like, well, don't wave a flag. That's offensive. But there's a few people out there that have birthdays on this day that I love dearly.
Uncle Sam?
Uncle Sam, absolutely.
I
He wants
knew
me.
it. I
He keeps
knew
pointing
it.
at my face.
Yeah.
Well, today was actually my dad's birthday.
Oh.
And he would have been 79 today.
Aw.
So I'll wish him a happy birthday. And his wife Laura, it was also her birthday. It's also her birthday today. And a good friend of mine from way back when, Jessie K. Spear. It's her birthday today as well.
Well, what are we talking about Independence Day
It's also
for?
Trisha Fright's birthday.
Jeez.
Good Lord.
There's way more important things going on.
That's right.
Locally.
How are you celebrating July 4th?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Myself?
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
I went for a kayak this morning.
You went for a kayak this morning. You guys are crushing it with that kayak thing, like early in the morning.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
It's nice.
I'm sure it is
lovely.
Beautiful.
On a today semi-clear day.
Yeah,
the water's nice and calm. Oh, it's a great way to start your morning.
It's just way too early. That's all.
Cup of coffee on your kayak.
That's nice. That does sound nice.
Go.
Yeah.
And yourself?
Well, if I could hang out here all day, I would definitely consider that. I wouldn't do it.
Going kayaking.
I wouldn't do it. I would consider it though.
Gotcha.
With the way my schedule works now, not a chance in burning hell.
Fair.
I will mark my July 4th the way I mark every July 4th by shooting fireworks at people.
Yes.
But there was a bit of sad news yesterday in Kentucky. A Jim Beam warehouse burnt to the ground.
Oh,
and with it took 45,000 barrels of Jim Beam brown liquor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Jim Beam is a favorite of mine.
Is it?
It is. I appreciate it, and it's something that I have in my cabinet. There it is.
I don't know if that's something you should admit.
Why not?
I don't know.
It's so tasty.
Well, I have a very strained relationship with Jim Beam. I think I've told the story previously about our flight in Australia.
Oh.
On this show before. Mm-hmm. I think I've told that.
I think so too.
It was disgusting.
And it
was all Jim Beam's fault.
That's too bad.
Maybe the flight attendant.
So, I mean, all joking aside, I mean, that's obviously, hopefully, like, there was no one hurt, which is good. They lost 45,000 barrels. Obviously, I mean, for them, that's a big loss for them. Obviously, they'll still be okay. The business.
No people hurt ever.
No people hurt.
Okay. Well,
however, a lot of that bourbon, it's right next to a river, right? And they pull the water from the river,
right?
So a lot of that bourbon flowed into the river,
lovely,
which is going to screw with the wildlife, pretty hard. So that is definitely too bad. But it was all over the news yesterday, and the thing is, what I didn't realize is that Jim Beam is owned by Suntory Whiskey. It's owned by the Japanese.
Oh,
Jim Beam Kentucky whiskey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was a batch of relatively young whiskey, so it hadn't aged.
Oh, it hadn't even had a chance yet.
Hadn't even had a chance
Hadn't
yet.
even experienced anything.
Like going down someone's gullet. So July 4th, a sad day for Jim Beam, but July 4th for everybody else, probably also kind of a sad day.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing this prime time Independence Day spectacular that 45 has planned. I would not be surprised to see a nuclear missile on the back of a military vehicle going through downtown. Just be like, look at our might.
What a great day to test a nuclear warhead in the middle of the desert.
I don't gotta test it. I don't gotta test it. You just gotta show it off. Just gotta show it off.
Yeah.
It's like wearing a really tight pair of pants. And just showing that missile off. The
last image we need is of Donald Trump wearing a very tight pair of pants.
Oh, come on. Show some respect. He's done so much. He's gotten so much accomplished. ... Well,
the pictures of that parade look pretty spectacular.
That's true.
Well organized.
And
I'm sure he had nothing to do with it.
Here's the thing. He has gotten a lot done. Only at the expense of the rights and the safety of millions. So what are you going to do? But here, you know what? We're not allowed to take positions on things. It's not a good look.
There's peace in Korea. All because of Donald.
Yeah, there's peace in North Korea under the boot. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 35 million people are starving to death. Definitely peace in that country.
Hey, I thought we were celebrating Independence Day.
What happened? Celebrating Independence Day.
Oh.
We're an independent radio station. We have to celebrate Independence Day.
Yeah. Can we just co-opt that for
ourselves?
We are.
Yeah. It's kind of what we do.
Happy Cabin Radio Day.
There you go. Happy Cabin Radio Day. That's nice. I like that. Although that would be like March 5th. Though,
yeah, it's not a date of significance for us in any way, but we'll just rain on others parade.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast. Hey, it was early. What do you want from us?
This is a absolutely bat poop crazy story out of Denver. They are culling Canada geese because they are overrun with them. They've become a pestilence on the city.
Right.
So they are basically trying to, quote unquote, manage their Canada geese population, and they've rounded up hundreds of Canada geese starting on July 1st. That seems pointed. That seems pointed.
A little bit, yeah.
That's like us
cheeky.
gathering up a bunch of American bald eagles, which are the same as Canadian bald eagles, but America just likes to have things be American.
Right.
And then just Just killing them all.
But those are
on Independence Day. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Well, no. See, American bald eagles are endangered.
Oh,
Bald
Canadian
eagles are
bald
not.
eagles? No.
There's no difference between them at all. But back in the day, they hunted American bald eagles. Good stuff. Good stuff. America does everything right. So part of the newly authorized measure to curb the number of geese in the city, in Denver, they are allowing a cull, basically. So the city is getting together with the Denver Parks and Recreation and some biologists and some wildlife and game people to cull hundreds of Canada geese. They're estimating, actually thousands, I should say, 5,000 Canada geese live in Denver. Approximately 300 were collected on July 1st. They're looking to get at least a couple of thousand. And what they're going to do with these geese, because Canada geese, that's good eating.
Well, yeah.
They are looking to cull the geese and feed them to the city's less fortunate.
All right.
So cull those geese.
Get behind that.
Feed them to the homeless.
Nothing to get down about.
Well, no, you're right. I mean, that's an adequate food source.
That was a little pun for you.
What? Nothing to get
Goose
down about. Oh my God, your pun game is very subtle.
Don't get
very
your dander up about this one.
Well, what's good for the homeless is good for the gander. That's not a pun. That is not a pun.
I like it though. Let's put it into practice.
So obviously, there's a crazy amount of backlash from the city, from people in the city saying,
"What?
This is crazy." I can understand why there is that backlash, but I mean, if you're going to cull a bunch of animals that can be eaten, you should eat them.
Yeah.
And why not give them to the homeless shelter, I suppose.
So who's mad about this? Just groups in
in
Denver.
So yeah, it's actually the Denver Parks and Rec. They originally got together with the city to do like a management of the population.
Okay.
So but the city was like,
what does that mean?
It's just like kind of, I don't know.
Tagging
and bagging, I guess. But now they've kind of come back and they're like, no, this isn't what we meant.
Yeah.
we don't want to manage it this way. So Denver Parks and Recreation is the ones doing the backlash, along with some concerned citizens, saying like this is cruel. This is cruel and unusual punishment to the geese. We shouldn't be doing this.
Is it punishment?
I don't know if it's punishment. It's punishment. I mean, like Canada geese are not endangered.
No.
In any way, shape, or form. So I mean, basically, they've just legalized a hunt on Canada geese.
Yeah,
and they're using the meat to feed the less fortunate. I mean, it's better than feeding them humans.
Yeah, I mean,
which is the next step, which is what Beyond Meat is made of. Yeah. Think about it. Beyond Meat is made from humans? From human beings.
Oh wow,
it's Soylent Green. It's people. It's people.
I feel like people must not know that.
No, they must not. I'm the only one in the know.
You're the only one that knows.
I watched a few YouTube videos last night. Pretty convinced that Beyond Meat is people.
So you've done your research.
That's right.
Okay.
Based on my own research that I've done.
Yes. On YouTube strictly.
And I got a lot of sources to back this up. Canada, the geese, that's a great idea, and that Beyond Meat is people.
So Canadians are not too worried about this.
I don't think so.
I think we know generally what a nuisance our geese can be.
They're beautiful.
We apologize for them, quite frankly.
Gorgeous birds.
Yeah.
They're jerks.
They are. They're nasty. They're very, very nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get, I mean, like, fair enough. If you get too close to them, they'll hiss at you. I mean, I hiss at people when they get too close to me.
That's right.
I get that. But there's a lot of them.
Yeah,
and
there is.
Places are legitimately being overrun.
Overrun.
I mean, what are you going to do, right?
I don't know. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says that killing Canada geese for meat is an acceptable last resort for population control.
Like,
so
it's
like, how are we going to control the population of these geese? Kill them. All right. Kill them and eat them.
I mean, what? Yeah, I personally don't really see an issue with that.
Only during molting season.
I guess
in overpopulated areas.
I guess if maybe we need a clearer picture of this goose problem that's going on there. Like, are these geese gathering on the streets and forming like violent street gangs and
yes.
beating people?
Yes.
Because that's a problem.
Yes.
And they have clubs in their wings.
They do.
I don't know if you knew that.
Do
or
they
not.
really?
They do.
They hide clubs in their wings?
They hide clubs. They hide shanks.
They've got like serrated beaks. I'm serious.
They're really dangerous.
They can be.
They're not that dangerous.
They're not that dangerous, but they are jerks.
But they
Can be anyway.
they are grumpy.
You know, Canada
so let's
geese,
eat them.
You know, Canada geese spend more time in Mexico than they do in Canada. They should be called Mexican geese.
The privilege.
All right.
My God.
Yeah, they're snowbirds. They spend like 7 months of the year in Mexico. It's like, isn't that nice?
And yet they call themselves hardy Canadians.
Yeah. Oof. Wow.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, you geese. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Not funny. I mean, it's like, I know a lot of people would be upset about that because you are killing these animals.
Right.
However, there's a benefit to it.
Yeah.
You're feeding people with them, so
Right.
I don't know.
I don't think we're gonna have a good answer on this.
What I'm
one.
saying, Lecter, I think it's clear. And I think I've said this. If I said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Kill every living thing on the planet so that human beings can eat.
I think you said that twice.
Yeah, twice.
We're getting towards
This is the
1,000.
second time.
Scenes from the cabin.
Lieutenant Mitchell, would you mind drawing your pistol?
What?
From where you're standing, do you think you could shoot that can off the alien craft? Sorry about that. You see, it's protected by the craft's shields. We can't penetrate their defenses.
We know that already. What's your point?
My point is if we can't beat their defenses, then we must get around them. Lieutenant Mitchell, would you please try to shoot it again?
How did you do that?
I gave it a cold. More accurately, I gave it a virus, a computer virus.
Are you telling us you can send out a signal that will disable all their shields?
Just as they used our satellites against us, we can use their own signal against them. If we plant the virus directly into the mothership, it would then filter down into all the corresponding ships below.
And just how do we infect the mothership with a virus?
We'll have to fly their craft out of our atmosphere and dock with the mothership. We can enter here, upload the virus, and set off an explosion that could disable it. This would disorient the smaller ship below and buy you some time to take them out.
This is ridiculous.
How long would their shields be down?
Once they discover the virus, it could be a matter of minutes.
You want us to coordinate a massive worldwide counterstrike with a window of only a few minutes?
With their shields down, it might be possible.
Please, you're not buying into any of this nonsense, are you? We don't have the manpower or the resources to launch that kind of a campaign. Not to mention that this whole cockamamie plan is dependent on a machine that no one in the world is qualified to operate.
I wouldn't say that, sir.
Scenes from the cabin.
Know the movie? Submit your guess to mailbox@cabinradio.ca or send us a message on Facebook for your chance to win gift certificates to some awesome Yellowknife restaurants, including Zehabesha, Main Street Pizza, the Woodyard Eatery, Copper House Restaurant, and Javaroma. Listen to Cabin Radio every weekday to win, or download the Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
Hour number 2 of MATC starts right now with Ollie telling a little story about the last Diet Coke. His last Diet Coke was stolen last night, and now he's just slamming things.
That was me. I apologize.
What'd you do that for?
I thought Ollie was off the Diet Coke. What
Yeah.
happened?
Now,
Oh, because the last one got stolen? You were saving that. That was your last one. You're like, I'm off it, but I'm going to save this last one because there's going to be a moment where I just need one, and it'll be the last one I ever do. It's like a junkie holding his last stash for a fix.
certainly for Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
It was very much intended to be Wednesday's last Diet Coke.
Tell us a little bit about your last Diet Coke.
And then it was stolen by the Green Party.
Oh.
Which
That's all they want to do, Ollie. They
come
just
up
want to
here.
steal your tax dollars.
They come up here, they take my Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
leave.
so immediately that was very distressing. Now John Kidder, Elizabeth May's husband.
Yes.
They
Margot
came-
Kidder's brother.
Indeed, they came in, and there is an article about that. Head
There
into
is.
our website in like 3 minutes' time.
Yay!
They both came into our studios at the same time. So over in Studio 2, Sarah Price was interviewing Elizabeth May.
Yeah.
And here in Studio 1, I was interviewing John Kidder. And you'll be
Yeah.
able to hear that interview on tomorrow's Lunchtime News, where he talks about coming back to Yellowknife this week to spread the ashes of Margot,
Yeah.
who died in May last year.
Yeah.
And some of her ashes are spread in Montana, some are being spread in Labrador City, where they lived, and some are being spread here
Very
in
nice.
Frame Lake this
Very
week.
nice.
So he was in to chat about that. And he finished the interview. It's a really nice interview as well. I can't stress enough. Go listen to it tomorrow because it's really it's wonderful hearing his recollections of life. You know, he was only 4 or 5 when they left.
That's right. Yeah,
but they came back in the 80s, and he tells this wonderful story about them playing the Superman movie in 84 with Margot in town and just the pandemonium that caused. Anyway, finishes the interview, and then he's trying to get his flight changed with Air Canada. So the hold music for Air Canada has been playing in our reception for like half an hour. Elizabeth May is neck deep in policy with Sarah in Studio 2, so John's just hanging out on our sofa, and the Air Canada hold music's playing. I walked past him at the studio and just nipped into our fridge in the office, grabbed the Diet Coke. I was just heading back, and he just says, "Oh, Diet Coke, have you got one of those?" And I looked at it in my hand.
I have exactly one.
Crestfallen, realised that I had no real alternative but to fork over this Diet Coke to John Kidder.
So less an act of theft, more an act of just politeness.
He's politeness, but that sort of enforced politeness where there's really no other alternative but to be polite. Because the alternative is to be like, no, you can't, and then just walk away.
Sorry, last one.
But it's my last one.
And tempted as I was, he said, that isn't your last one, is it? No.
Yes.
And I sort of said, it is. But, there's a store nearby.
Gritting.
You can have it. So then wolfs my Diet Coke, took it away with him.
He shotgunned it.
Yeah, in my face, yeah. Just maintain
punctured a hole.
Yeah.
Eye contact the whole time. Yeah. So,
wow.
You will not hear this anywhere else but Cabin Radio.
In other John Kidder news, he also has a Solar Queen.
Yes.
So Solar Queen that sits on the studio here, my little gift from Corte We School in Dedda that Jesse hasn't fixed yet.
Wait, is that just what you're calling Elizabeth May? The Solar Queen?
The Solar Queen.
That's John's Solar Queen.
That's not bad.
No, he has a little statuette of Solar Queen as well, and apparently his is so popular that he ended up having to give the first one away to a visitor who was
His last one,
and he had to order another one from Amazon. So like, you know how it feels.
Why were you keeping her in the fridge?
Yeah, that's right.
Odd decision.
Stop trying to drink the Solar Queen.
Ever since he gave that away, there's been a lack of balance in his life, and he found it by taking Ollie's last Diet Coke. It's like, finally, everything is right with the universe once again.
Yep. You have done John a immeasurable service.
I wanted to talk to you about the Elizabeth May in the news story about the $2 billion investment in getting us on the grid and whatnot, and how that's it's more than anybody else is promising or trying to promise to us.
There's two ways of looking at that.
Yeah.
So option number one in your ways of looking at that is that find me another federal leader that says they're going to pay for that $2 billion project. There isn't one.
Yeah.
The Liberal government has said we want to get this project done.
Yeah,
but Justin Trudeau hasn't said that. The Northern Affairs Minister has said that. And so far, out of the projected billion and a bit cost of doing it as cheaply as possible, the Liberal federal government has put up $20 million.
Yes,
over 4 years, which is it's not nothing. It's something, and they're making the right noises, but it's not quite the same as coming out and saying, right, this here project, we've put $2 billion in our budget. We're getting our budget costed out by the Parliamentary Budget Office, which is independent. And we're going to prove that we can pay for this, which is what Elizabeth May said yesterday. Yeah. Now, as she herself says in the interview, politicians are not trusted when they make promises like this for very good reason, because they make them all the time and break them. Yeah. But she says this is one of our core promises. We're costing this out. This is something we would absolutely do if there were a Green government. The other way of looking at that is Elizabeth May is the Green Party federal leader. She knows the Green Party's chances of being elected to government and can afford to tell people what they want to hear.
Yes. Right.
Now, you choose which of those worldviews you would rather have. From my point of view, any federal political leader you listen to is going to try to tell you nice things.
Yes.
That's kind of how the game works. And then once you get into power, you have to work out how to do as many of the nice things as possible with not enough resource to do all the nice things you said you were going to do.
Of course.
And hence, everybody gradually gets less and less enamored with the federal government, no matter who they elected, because it turns out they can't do all the nice things they said they were going to do. And eventually you elect some other guys in because they say they'll do all those nice things. That's how it goes on.
But $2 billion is not, obviously to you or I, $2 billion sounds like a ton of money. It's in the grand scheme of things, $2 billion is not that much money. So to get us connected to a grid and actually start pouring money into the north from the rest of the country,
To me, the most interesting thing about that promise is, did you expect it from the Green Party? Did you expect the Green Party to say,
we want to develop and we want to do that?
$2 billion to connect the NWT to the grid because it'll provide cheaper power for mining, which she explicitly said in the interview.
You got to check that box as well. And then getting people off of diesel is huge. However, would there be local interests or northern interests that would definitely not want that because, hey, we're spending a ton on diesel and we're getting to charge people for it as well?
No, I think the North is fully behind getting off diesel. The issue is that people will turn around to Elizabeth May and say, it is not that simple. And I think there's an illustration of that in the interview yesterday when Elizabeth May says, okay, we're going to spend this $2 billion, get Yellowknife connected to the grid.
Yeah.
Sarah, our reporter, follows up immediately and says, well, does that extend to other communities? And Elizabeth May immediately says, yes, because the big piece is getting Yellowknife connected, then we'll figure it out from there. Oof, well,
that's tough.
I'm not sure that is the big piece. Frankly, I think it's almost as easy to connect Yellowknife to the grid as it is to then connect, let's say, Fort Good Hope to the grid. Wrigley. And how are you getting all of the smaller community, Colville Lake, how are you going to connect everywhere else to that grid? That is a huge infrastructure operation in the North to connect every community up to your grid.
Yeah.
And I think that the ease with which Elizabeth May said, yeah, we'll get that done as well, just made me think, I don't know how.
Well, are you going to be in power long enough to see it all the way through? That's a huge project.
A, it's going to take more than one federal government's life cycle to get that done. B, I don't know if you quite realize the scale of this. Yeah. Having said that, $2 billion would get an awful lot done that has not been done yet. So it's interesting. I think the
depending on where the contracts go.
I think she's very much realizing that people in the North associate the Green Party with the environment and not with development. So it was important probably for her to come here and stress, no, we get it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also the point too that the Canadian government's life cycle could be infinite. Like it's not 8 years definitely and done. So I mean, that's obviously a very idealistic way of thinking about it. But I mean, you kind of have to be idealistic if you're the Green Party, right?
But these feel like more like these kind of feel like not opening salvos, but salvos into the transition because we are starting to transition away from blue and red. Hopefully.
Well, are we? I mean,
good Lord, I hope so.
And it depends on your outlook, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with blue or red if they happen to be good enough at governing.
They're not.
And that is a matter of opinion, and it's a matter of choice. And it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think there is some cause for people to feel jaded, frankly, no matter where you live in the world now, with either of those colours.
Yeah.
But how will that pan out? I mean, in the UK right now, following European elections, that panned out in the Brexit Party, led by that panned out in more right-wing organisations getting more votes, and it has done elsewhere as well.
Yeah.
How's that going to pan out in Canada? You're going to see the People's Party get a bounce out of that.
We're seeing how that's panning out, or using fear and misinformation.
Right, but then are you going to see the NDP get a bounce out of that? You're going to see the Greens get a bounce out of that? I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out. Yeah, reading her interview yesterday and listening to her at the town hall and seeing the response to it, it certainly feels to me like the Green Party is much better prepared for this than it was 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The Green Party candidate 4 years ago, whose name escapes me off the top of my head, which probably says it all, I don't recall feeling like there was really much grasp going on there.
It's never felt that way. Like in times past, it's people who have told me that they're going to vote green. It was like, well, you're just kind of throwing your vote away at this point,
right?
I mean, that's their right. That's
the impression they have to get over. The obstacle the Green Party and any smaller party has to get over is you're throwing your vote away, because you're not voting for one of the two largest parties.
Yeah. The interesting thing for the Green Party and Elizabeth May optically is that the rally cry for the last 4 years about Justin Trudeau has been that he's just not ready. He's got no experience in government. He's a drama teacher, blah, blah, blah. There's no one more qualified than Elizabeth May right now who has more experience in federal politics than to take on this job. So,
and someone just scoffed at you and said Andrew Scheer. and they're wrong. And that is a matter of my opinion, absolutely. But I mean, he's not ready to lead the country either.
2 points, though. I did not know there was a federal panel that actually looks at budgets and verifies them
independently. Yeah,
independently. That's pretty cool. But for the second point, you mentioned how political parties they too often tell us all the nice things. and we hear all the nice things. I would like to see a political party take the opposite side. Tell us about all the nasty things you're going to do.
That's right.
Get all that out of the way.
That's right.
And then it's just smooth sailing from that point on.
Here are all the things we are not going to get done.
Well, I mean, I think the cons are coming out pretty hard with that. They're just like, we're going to take away these rights, and we're going to out gay kids, and no abortions for anybody, and all that kind of stuff.
But their fans love that stuff.
That's right. They're fans. Oh my goodness. I mean, wearing it on your sleeve.
Party
I
has a lot of. I mean, I will just say that the Conservative Party has a lot for Northerners to consider. Same as the Liberal Party does as well.
Yeah.
An example of something the Conservative Party is offering that you will not have heard from anybody else yet is keeping all the resource royalties in the North,
Yes,
for example.
absolutely.
So they, for a year now,
Yeah,
have
and
been pushing something like that.
But things like that, promises like that, are what make people go, "That's amazing. I need that. I'm going to vote for that." While forgetting all these other terrible things that they're also trying to do.
But people paint parties into a corner very easily at the same time. I am not about to deny that the Conservative Party is associated with a whole lot of people who, frankly, hold views that are fairly abhorrent.
Yeah.
Right? At the same time, the Liberal Party
the same thing.
has not exactly covered itself in glory in many situations. Nope. And you know what? If you put a Green Party in government, how long do you think it'd be till there was some sort of scandal?
Oh, there'd be a scandal immediately.
Because it frankly doesn't really matter who you're going to vote in.
No.
You're going to have to hold your nose at some of the stuff that party does because, geez, like, cabin radio with what? A few people in the office manages to screw it up enough at the time that the federal government is always going to drop some balls. And the question is, who do you think is going to drop the least worst balls?
Yes. Got to go with Elizabeth May on that one.
Enough said.
Yeah. No, that's very good. Very good. Well, thank you, Ollie, for that insightful third point. Didn't know John Kidder was a thief. We'll get, next time you're in town, John, if you come back with Elizabeth, we'll just get you a case of the stuff.
Oh, it's got to be a Coke Zero. See how you like that?
There you go. Thank you, Ollie, for that. And that's great. That's good stuff. Listen for that interview tomorrow.
So John Kidder tomorrow, Elizabeth May today.
Cabin Radio's Morning Show podcast. All the best chat, none of the embarrassing mistakes.
Finishing off for another morning. We will have another episode of Scenes from the Cabin a little later on in the 10 o'clock hour. You can still get your guesses in for yesterday's, which was, I'll just give it away. What? Gone with the Wind.
That was already a gimme.
That was a gimme, right?
Jeez.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Is that from Gone with the Wind?
That is.
Oh, okay.
Brett, where will I go? What will I do? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Yes. I thought that was Casablanca.
No, Casablanca is
here's looking at you, kid.
Here's looking at you, kid. Yeah, that's right. And the other one...
of all the gin joints and all blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you know.
The problems of two people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world.
Hill of beans. Why don't we use that expression anymore?
Right? We do need to use that expression anymore, especially when comparing sizes. He was like a hill of beans.
This morning show has been a hill of beans.
This morning show brought to you by a hill of beans.
Heinz Hill of Beans.
Heinz Hill of Beans. More than one, less than 100. It's a hill.
That with chunks of pork.
This show's been a hill of pork. I don't know how often I read this when I was a kid. When I was like 8 to 10 years old, probably.
Yes.
And it was because my best friend at the time really liked it, so I would pick up these issues. Mad Magazine. When's the last time you read a Mad Magazine?
Oh, it's been a while. I owned a couple.
Yeah, me too.
Back in the day.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, they are shuttering their doors. The August issue will be its last after 67 years. Mad Magazine is now no longer a thing.
Now, that is not entirely true.
Why?
I'm reading follow-up reports stating that Mad Magazine's demise has been a bit premature, the reporting of it. While Mad will cease publishing new material after issue number 10 arrives in October, and we're all waiting for that one.
Yeah.
The series will continue to be released on its current bi-monthly schedule, but as a reprint periodical.
What?
Future issues will feature vintage material, along with new covers that will presumably continue to skewer current events.
Interesting. Weird Al that tweeted yesterday. He's profoundly sad to hear that after 67 years, Mad Magazine is ceasing publication. Obviously, he and Mad Magazine kind of go sharing some sensibilities there.
Yes.
So yeah, that was that's good that it'll continue on releasing old stuff.
So basically, Mad Magazine is not writing any new episodes. They're just doing reruns from now on. Just strictly in syndication. Just old jokes that you thought were great back in 1968.
Oh, beautiful.
They're going to come back, and you're just going to love them just the same.
And then it became a sketch show, which had nothing to do with Mad Magazine whatsoever.
But was great in its own right.
It had its time.
It certainly
for sure.
had its time. Yeah. Some really pretty successful stars coming from that one. Of course,
Jordan Peele, Keegan-Michael Key.
Yes.
Will Sasso.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Will? He still does things.
He was
but
in Super Troopers too.
I forgot that even happened.
Yeah,
we were talking about that the other day.
Yeah. It happened.
Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it yet.
No.
I haven't seen Goon 2 yet either. But now we're getting off track.
Yeah, we are getting off
So
track.
I haven't read a Mad Magazine in years. I don't think I've read a magazine in a long time because the internet. But yeah, it's kind of sad. I mean, it's pretty childish humor, but I mean, it's a different take on a lot of things, and it's something that's been around for a very long time, and they've been skewing pop culture for a very long time, and it's just another voice shuttered by industry.
Did you ever read its bastardized brother
magazine,
Cracked,
or the occasional issue of Crazy? No, I read Cracked a couple times back in the day, and then it became a website. So Cracked moved to a website long ago, and they released like listicles mostly and some irreverent articles. But now they've become a shell of themselves, inundated with advertising, and also just like trying really hard to tiptoe around everything that you can't really joke about, which is what they used to joke about.
Right. Yeah.
They used to skew that kind of stuff, and now they're kind of and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of I don't think they figured out how to do it yet without and still be funny.
Right.
So yeah, they've kind of gone off the deep end.
Well, and it feels like, like you say, we kind of forgot that Mad Magazine was even a thing. And in the last, 5+ years, it's kind of been like, almost like The Onion is basically like, you know what, guys, we got it from here.
Yeah.
We'll do the satire.
Yeah. And they do it so very well.
And they do it so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Beaverton for Canadian topics specifically is very funny.
And that's very specific to news, skewing the news and parodying the news, whereas Mad was just kind of parodying everything, like literally everything.
Right.
Yeah. So, and you remember the little fold outs at the back? You'd fold them in. Those were fairly impressive. To come up with a drawing that's full page and then a little blurb at the bottom and then to fold it in and have it mean something completely different or answer the question that's in that little paragraph is pretty good.
It's funny.
I always like those.
It's such a generational thing. Like, I mean, magazines in general, but that was iconic back in the day. The Mad Magazine fold in.
Yeah.
And now if you were to say that to someone, a generation younger than us, they'd be like, what are you talking about?
A generation younger than us doesn't even know what a rotary phone is.
Yeah.
Can't be depended on for nothing except saving the planet.
Did you know the name of the character on the front? I feel like this is a generation.
Alfred E. Newman.
So I don't know if you caught this a few weeks ago, but Donald Trump. There's been a lot of Trump on this morning's show.
Yeah.
We'll try it. It's America's birthday.
That's right. You got to talk about him.
He was skewering some of the Democratic, the ones running for the Democratic leadership, and I can't remember which one it was, but he how he likes to give his opponents nicknames that he thinks are very clever.
Yeah.
He referred to one of them as Alfred E. Newman. And the
probably Beto O'Rourke.
I think it might have been Beto O'Rourke, and his response was something basically like, "I had to look up who that was.
I don't know,
no idea
who that is." Beto O'Rourke's like, "What? Me worry?"
Yeah. Mad Magazine was like, well, I guess that's the end of us.
Oh man, and that is they're shutting down.
Man,
After that, it's like, I guess that's it.
The last hurrah.
Donald Trump made a reference to us, not great, and the other guy didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Also not great. Let's shut it down. But in the end, what really killed Mad Magazine? The all-idy aller. I get it.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.